Welcome everyone to EA Global Summit 2021. This is Juhi from EA Global Summit organizing team. Thanks to everyone for your interest and for joining us in this session. This session is by Madhav, product manager from Spark Systems Prolaborate, presenting about introducing Prolaborate 4.0. We will be muting all the participants throughout the session, and if any of you are having any queries during and after the session, please use the chat window or questions window to drop your questions to the speaker. We will be reading out the questions and the speaker will answer the questions during the Q&A session at the end. To enable collaboration and communication with Madhav and other EA practitioners after the session, we request you to visit the dedicated channel for the session in Microsoft Teams. Madhav and several other speakers have kindly accepted to stay in the channel to have a one-to-one discussion and answer your queries. The link to the MS Teams channel is posted in the chat window for your quick reference. If anyone is having any difficulty in connecting to Teams, please reach us in the chat window or write to us at registrations@eaglobalsummit.com. Thanks once again for your interest and support to EA Global Summit 2021. Looking forward to another informative session with Madhav. Over to you, Madhav, now.
Thanks a lot, Joey. Hi, everybody.
I'm making you as a presenter.
Yeah, make me the person. Okay.
Yeah, seeing your screen now.
Are you seeing the PPT on my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so as we all know, so we are going to have a look at the all new Prolaborate 4.0. So this is the next major version of Prolaborate. And what are we exactly going to look here? So first we'll have a look at, we'll spend some time looking at the goals or purpose or motivation behind why we started working on this. So that will give you a very good view on what is coming, what has come, and what is going to come on a very high level, and what are we trying to achieve with this. Then we'll move on to the live demo, and okay, obviously after the live demo you would or we wish you would want to get your hands on the new version. So what is when is let's say the release is coming and what's coming in it, we'll look at that next. We'll then have a very quick technical overview, and finally we will move on to the question and answers. And okay, so first of all, let's take a look at why we, let's say, invested a year of efforts rebuilding Prolaborate from scratch. So I mean, just to quote again, so we rebuilt Prolaborate from, let's say, the first line of our code. So it's not a let's say UX revamp, it's not a feature revamp, it's not, let's say, revamp on one side. It's the Prolaborate is from ground up has been rebuilt. And what were the reasons why we did this? So there are at least 5 major areas where everyone has its own, let's say, backstory to it. We'll look at it. So number one is let's say the best or seamless user experience. So this doesn't mean that 3.x is not seamless. I mean, as many customers or users would have seen, Prolaborate is the platform to simplify architecture information and share it with the audience. But we wanted to enhance the user experience in a holistic way. So not just maybe a specific set of pages or specific set of capabilities, but let's say making the user interface clean and sleek and seamless, and also the enhancing the user experience as much as possible so that anybody could come in and really use it. So we did this by adopting the latest design trends and matching the modern applications that you use on a daily basis. And okay, now I'll stop here on this point. So this is something that could only be felt. We'll be taking a look, obviously, in very quickly, and you will definitely see the difference. And the next point is performance. So this is again, I mean, we have a very large customers using our Collaborate right now, but we thought we'll take the performance to the next level. So you could be a very huge company with the largest or heavily complex models, but what we want you to expect is never, let's say, a dull or a lag. So that's what we saw. Hey, this is good, but at times, or when there is a large query, or when the models are getting large, or let's say, hey, we are a very huge organization working all around the world. We are one of the largest banks in the world. So no, so currently we could see some gaps, and it's not a major gap, but there are some gaps. What we thought is, hey, how about matching the performance to the, let's say, global web standards, and giving the best performance no matter what kind of data that is being fed into it. So that's one of our major focus areas. So so this is part of the user experience, a larger user experience, but you'll definitely see that seamlessness in terms of performance as well, not just in the way how Collaborate works. Okay, next, I guess at least after 2020, you could have, or a lot of large organizations who were like, hey, we are never going to cloud, or we are 100% on premises only. We have our own data centers, are indeed moving to cloud, and cloud adoption is at, let's say, at its peak right now. So everything has changed, and I mean, just a note that it's not that the Sparks architecture platform or the complete suite cannot be availed on cloud. There are SaaS solutions right now that we offer, but technically speaking, this is basically the same infrastructure, but availed as a hybrid or full SaaS. So 3.x is obviously not built for the cloud, as we developed it a while ago, but we ensured that when we had our thoughts put together on why we want to build and what we want to achieve, we ensured that, hey, it should be cloud ready. So the exact impact might not be visible to, let's say, the actual users. It will definitely be fully visible to the cloud or IT teams in how seamless and smooth the overall, let's say, installation and upgrade and all other processes are. Our cloud team is all excited about this, so we hope the cloud teams from our customers also feel the same. Okay, so the next point is long awaited features. So what are we trying to say here? So as I said, we rewrote everything, but obviously we have built a feature by feature again. But one thing we followed religiously was look at the feature thoroughly, and we had our, let's say, the full product backlog with years and years of feedbacks from customers and our partners around the world. So we had a good ensured. We take a good look at what was expected for some time and what we were not, let's say, able to do because of let's say, other constraints and limitations on the technologies we built, and we ensured that every single feature out there is updated based on what was expected. So I mean, when looking at a high level, you might feel that, hey, this is, let's say, an improved feature, but when you go into the details, you will definitely feel let's say, the minute details or the granular improvements that we have focused on a lot. So and the enhancement which you are talking about, it's not just about the UI UX and performance which we spoke. So there are tons of new features as well that we'll obviously be looking at the demo. And last but not the least, so this is again not something that's not happening. So we have customers with unlimited licenses, but we have seen that there are some concerns when some companies start small, let's say, with few hundreds of users, and they want to go to few thousands of users, or they have very stringent security policies, and they felt that, hey, there are some gaps, and we also saw a lot of areas of improvements where we thought we could improve. And so we took this opportunity to ensure that. So overall, let's say how you feel when you are using the product, how fast the product performs, what are all the capabilities that are expected for long, and how all the features, no matter how many are using, how big the models are, how big the data is, they are all happy. And also we wanted to ensure the whole, let's say, deployment, or how you deploy and actually use the product, those teams are also happy. So so with that, I'll close this. So as you could have seen, so this is the theme, this is the motive, this is the purpose through which we are driving 4.0. So what we are seeing today is just a glimpse of what's coming immediately. So this is, as I said, this is a live demo of what is already done. So there's a lot to come very quickly. The next version is already in the works, so you'll see a lot more in the coming months. And okay, so just a note here. So what we focused on importantly was not introducing a lot of, let's say, new features, new flashy features from our long list of wish list. What we focused on, let's say, as I said, a year of efforts, it was more of a, let's say, 365 places where we could improve was the priority, rather than, let's say, 10 15 all new features that could add value to maybe some customers or some users out there. So you'll see this philosophy built in when we are actually looking at the demo as well. So there are four capabilities where which is, let's say, getting immediately released. As I said, others are in the works. So so first is the simplification and sharing. So making it making anybody in the organization come in and consume the model information, and enabling collaboration between the stakeholders, and all the dashboards, and slicing and dicing data with all the visualizations out there. So the admin capabilities are around these let's say, features, but I wanted to show that separately. So we'll focus only on, let's say, the 100% actual users perspective, and then we'll move on to, let's say, the expert or the admin's perspective. Okay, I guess enough of PPTs for now. Let's jump right into the demo. So this is my screen. I've installed it locally. Let me sign in. And okay, so this is the all new 4.2. I'm all smiles here, so showing it. Okay, and before I click around and take you through this journey, I would like to let's say, give a very quick walkthrough, maybe to the existing users or users about 3.2 very quickly, so that you'll literally see the difference immediately. So this is my login experience in 3.x. And you could see so I'm landing on the dashboard with the browser, and I'm able to do certain things on the dashboard, and I could switch between the dashboards here, and there is this diagrams that I have access to, and let's open one of the diagrams. Okay, open the diagram. I want to learn more about, let's say, the motivation and the business layer. Here I click on it to know more information, and there I could see a lot more information. And when I want to start a discussion, so basically I go here and tag users by clicking here, and tag references by clicking here. And when I want to explore more about the packages in the repository, so let me open up a package. So this is how the list of objects in the package, in this case applications, look. And when I click on an application, it's mostly an empty page right now. You can click on the attributes to look more. So this is my current experience, and let's see what has changed. Okay, first of all, you could see, I mean, you don't have these drop downs and these tabs right now, and you could see there are some options on the top bar. So first is same as what we have right now, the list of repositories, and I'll talk a little bit about why we did what we have done in for each. So here, so we have seen some, let's say customers have a lot of repositories, at least a copy of the same EA repository done multiple times. So you could easily switch between them, and you could also search through the repositories. And the dashboards which was here, we have moved it immediately next to here, and you could switch between your the dashboards that you have access to. Again, diagrams was a tab in a different place. Here you could click on this drop down to see the recently accessed diagrams, or click on this to actually view the list of diagrams that you have access to. We'll look at this shortly again. And this is again a review. So there was a prerequisite to add a widget, or there was a tab on the other side of the space to access reviews. Basically, dashboards was here, diagrams was a tab here, reviews was a tab here. So we wanted to bring all that in a single place and make it extremely easier. So that's the, let's say this is an example of what we did with the user experience. So everything that is important are available just next to each other. And okay, let's look around. So obviously every single person lands on the dashboard. So what has happened in the dashboard apart from the top bar? So in the dashboard, so I mean, these are all new visualizations or enhanced visualizations, which we'll talk about more shortly. But let's have a look around what additional capabilities are, let's say, part of the dashboard. So when I hover over a widget or any widget, so you could see there was just a maximize button earlier. Now we have introduced a lot of capabilities to play around with the charts from, let's say, a user point of view. So I'm an user, but I could do a lot more. I could even change the charts views and play around here itself. So we'll, as I said, we'll talk more on this. And if I want to share, so if you want to share a single widget, it is possible right now. So it could be a single chart or single diagram, or let's say a diagram with some notes as a widget, or a widget with multiple diagrams and reports maybe. So a single widget could be shared, and also the dashboard could be shared as well as a whole using a quick link. And okay, collaboration is something which we'll talk, but to give you a quick let's say heads up, so discussions and collaborations were, let's say, very tightly coupled with model information. So obviously, hey, we are using Prolaborate just to present a lot of let's say all the data out there, and our audience are the business users, and they would like to discuss about the dashboard. And okay, our answer earlier was, sorry, you can just discuss about a diagram, you can discuss about a capability, goal, app, a requirement, or a use case. If you have created a proper dashboard, there was actually no way to discuss. So we shattered those boundaries. So any deliverable, anything that you create in Prolaborate is closely bound to the collaboration. So you could start a discussion on any specific widget. So I want to give my feedback on this. Maybe some data is wrong, I feel the color coding is wrong, so I could share my discussion here, or I want to give my feedback on the other kind of information I would like to see. I could do that here. So this is again, instead of an email or a side chat, or I add a discussion on a diagram to notify the user, I could do that here. So basically making the whole consumption and dashboarding much more collaborative. So that is, let's say, the high level features of a generic dashboard. We'll look at the visualizations and their details in detail shortly. So let's, so as I said, you could switch between the dashboards. Let's look at the diagrams. So diagrams, we introduced a search. So currently search, you would again see search. So I mean, as the consumption is increasing, as the need to get to the information immediately arises, I guess you guys can relate to me. So you are here, you want to get to a view or information immediately. And so obviously search is the most easiest or the straightforward way. So you could see a lot of places where we have introduced search capability and enhanced search capabilities. So when you're here and you have something in your mind and you want to get to it, so it's just a matter of few clicks and not an elaborate search process, or we don't want you to navigate and traverse through the models which, let's say, the core business users might not understand. And so these filters we have retained, and there are additional capabilities or features that we have introduced on these features. A very simple one is, let's say, opening the diagrams in a new tabs. Even that was not possible because of the way how it was built. So now you can open up multiple views, and if you want to, let's say, have a quick full look, so that is possible as well. So within this page, so without having to navigate, navigation is again simpler. We'll look at that shortly. Or if you want to start a discussion here itself on this diagram, you want to drop a quick comment, you can do that as well. Okay, look, so let's maybe click on a process and have a look around. So okay, I chose a diagram. So in this case, a workflow or a business process. I want to know more. Maybe I'll just collapse this to give you a better view. Okay, so this is the new, let's say, diagrams view. So you could see all the tabs are gone, and if in case you want to know more, you can just scroll down. If there are any reviews, you could immediately see that as well. But let's say the most common activity that's expected is clicking on an information on an, let's say, object and checking out the information. Okay, so you could see how immediately it came. So when I clicked on it, all the properties and the information are immediately shown. And in the similar way, what we do now, so you could basically view the information and can edit it if needed. And so what else do we have here? So let's so reviews, as I told. So discussions, again, in an easily accessible place and highlighted. Obviously we are here to collaborate and engage with the audience. And share. Okay, this is something maybe if I do a quick comparison here, which we have been, that's something which we have been trying to improve a lot. So this is how I share, and this is how I invite right now. Sorry, I think I've disabled it. So how I share and invite right now, it's just in a single click. What kind of link I want to get, I just copy it. If I want to invite someone, so sharing, copying a link and, let's say, putting it in Teams or Skype to share, or inviting someone by their email ID. So it's as simple as a single click right now. And action, so if I want to look at the discussions that are going on, or if I want to look at the integration, that's again easily possible. So these some settings were, let's say, in different places, and some actions were kind of hidden here. So so anybody who's coming in, so everything is pretty obvious what I as a, let's say, extremely new user or an expert user can do here. And okay, so one more thing, so it's not necessarily discussed as something negative, but let's say a kind of EA's capability which we have carried for some time is the double click. So I want to go to a composite diagram, or I want to land on this activities view to know more. It was a double click is how it was happening. And so what you could do now is basically, I mean, if it is a composite object which you want to drill down and look at a view, so double click, which is obviously not obvious and which EA users will easily know, but nobody else will easily know. So what we have done is, so we have introduced a capability where you see a clear button on what kind of, let's say, object, whether there is a sub process under it. You just click on it and you are here. And let me quickly use a capability and show you. So we have this back button, and you could see how seamless the whole navigation is. If I have to do it again, so I just opened a diagram and I click back, and basically you could easily navigate between multiple diagrams and objects and information easily. And okay, so the discussions is also highlighted. So in the earlier view, you had small tabs here, which again are icons, which might not be obvious to, let's say, new users, or let's say the larger, wider audience. So again, keeping in mind the collaboration as the focus, so we introduce these discussions to be enabled easily here itself. So anywhere in the so you want to consume information, so that's all easier. Anywhere, any page, wherever information you're consuming, you want to engage someone, you want to get feedback, you want to share some feedback, it's just a click away. And you could see we have taken care in, let's say, even color coding the buttons in a way that the users are taken their view there. So you could see this is a plain, simple, clean user interface, which there's only one thing that tries to attract my attention, is asking me to start a discussion and engage with, let's say, architects or users. Okay, so that's the diagram, and let's go to a place where the largest changes have come. Okay, so this is basically this overview page. So obviously we were again thinking about the usage of the large real estate out there, and what we did is basically used it. So anywhere you go, so this overview page, which we could see, and we have seen the most minimally used place, now should become or would obviously become the most used place. So any information on anything is all in a single click. So as you browse, as you click, there is a link to an application or a goal or a requirement on a dashboard. You click on it, you immediately get landed here, and basically every single information that you would like to know about this is here. So there is no clicking on tabs and multiple tabs and browsing around and navigating and understanding, no. And so what kind of properties or attributes to be displayed, obviously it's all controlled by the MDG. So what specific information to be displayed, yes. Hey, what kind of discussions and collaborations happening, yes. Hey, where is this application used, or where is it connecting to? So this is with the, let's say, the application. So if it's a requirement, all your scenarios and use cases, if constraints, if there are requirements, so every information is available in this, let's say, all-in-one informative pages. So this is one, let's say, big leap or big change in the way how you would be consuming the model information. And okay, so editing. So when do we really go back to that properties window experience? So as I showed, when you're on a diagram and you want to know more, or when you want to edit something. So again, so when I want to edit some information, so I can click quickly on this and make some changes and save. And again, you could see how easy it is to share and discuss the model information. Okay, so some more, let's say, navigation elements that I would like to highlight. So basically you have this easily accessible breadcrumb is what's the technical name, the path. So so this is again not limited to this model information. I'll show the admins view, where basically anywhere you are, basically the path how you have come there is shown. You go from, as I told, could be a dashboard, it could be a diagram, but you get to know where or how the overall path is. You can easily click to go to the previous views. And so here we could see the recent diagrams. What about all the recent items I visited? So you could basically click this next to the back, and you would easily get access to all the information that you accessed recently. And as I told, the back button is basically your way to quickly navigate back. Okay, so okay, search and navigation, mostly, I guess, mostly kind of seen, but enhanced a lot. But let me introduce to you to a new feature, completely new feature. So this is again serves the goal of getting you to the information extremely quickly. So basically, let's say you have a large model where you could be an expert, and even expert has to traverse their way to deeper information. And basically, you would, I mean, even when I was searching through, obviously I'm going through the multiple way. How about how to make this easier? How to make the overall browsing easier? So I just type in, I have further filters here, what kind of information I'm looking for, and basically choose the diagram. And I mean, if I want to do a find in browser, I could do that as well, or I could say open. And so basically, if I have to do it again, click on search item, click on let's select the object or diagram that I want to land to search, and immediately it opens. So this would definitely and obviously come in handy where so this could be an expert or a normal user. They know where something is, or they have a slight remembrance of a name. They want to quickly get to it. So search obviously is there, or recent diagrams is there, but further capabilities in filtering are brought here. So this is a plain text search. You enter a name, everything that it matches with that plain text comes here, but here you have further controls on specific filters. And okay, so that's the complete consumption experience. And last but not the least, we have introduced this default capability. So what is this? So this is again could definitely be useful to, let's say, anybody who has more than one repository, but always have a preferred repository in one out of two or more. It could be more. So what happens right now, you could have seen you never saw this dashboard because anybody logs in, there's only, you have access to only one repository. Obviously you are taken directly into the landing page, the only one ever repository. But let's just increase it to two, and the users especially always will land here. There was a very long pending request, hey, we have access to more than one or two or three, for obvious reasons that we should gain access to it when needed, and we can't really go to the admin every time we want access to something. But there's only one repo that's kind of default. So is there a way to set that as default? That was not there. Now no matter how many repositories you have, if you have a preferred repository, that should open every time. You have this quick capability to set that. Okay, so that's basically the sharing. Maybe I'll just quickly run you through or click around to showcase what's happening. So this is my package view where I could get to see all the objects and the information, and I can click to understand more about the objects. And I'm just clicking around to show how seamless the overall navigation and the information that is showed, the highlights of what is expected to be done, and everything is. And I guess the long-term users or existing users, you could definitely relate to what's happening. So it's all immediate. So that's, I guess this is the major capability that we wanted to take you through. And let's move on to the next one. So discussions, we saw quite a bit on how it's not really limited right now, but what else is there? So I want to gain feedback, let's say from someone. Okay, what did I really do? So instead of this, let's say click on tags and click on tags, I mean, this is pretty normal, but what has changed is I can just add and tag the users, and I can just give an hash and add a reference. By reference, I'm referring to another diagram in the model. So basically, it's as simple as this. So tagging a user or tagging references is as simple as what we are seeing right now. So no more clicking around to see and tag users. And let's replay and see what happens. There are some more enhancements to this. Let's look. Okay, so this guy, let's say, gets an email of this. And he replies back. Okay, some more minor enhancements I would say. So you could see whoever has started the discussion. So you could see that author tag here. And by default, the current behavior is the reply. For a reply to be seen, you have to click to see it. But here, the at least two replies would always be seen, and the most recent replies would be on top. So some discussions are going on, and basically how you browse through the replies is you start from the first ever reply that was there. So obviously we wanted the most recent discussions to be on top. So I mean, minor enhancements, but this is obviously based on a lot of feedback and data, and so some minor enhancements to the way and making the whole discussions simpler as well. One thing which you could have seen is obviously one thing which you wouldn't have seen is basically the loader. So the discussions is again something which was kind of let's say lagging, and you will definitely see it as improved a lot. Okay, so again, when it comes to collaboration, it's not just discussions. Let's start a review and see what has changed there. So again, as an admin, I don't want to go to the reviews page and then start it. If I want to create something, I can just create it right away. And okay, so this is all same. Here it's all same. I could select information for direct review. Maybe let me select certain applications. Okay, the first change, I guess this has been asked to me personally in a lot of demos. Hey, we have a large set of users. I mean, we have ensured they are grouped in Collaborate, but how do we invite them all? So we have continuous reviews running, and the answer was, hey, we have to invite them one by one in all the reviews. So that's again one answer which we did not like to give. So what we did is we enabled inviting groups. So I mean, if you could relate to what I just said, inviting a bunch of users all the time to certain reviews continuously or on schedule, you don't have to add that 10 or 10 15 or 5 10 15 20 users one by one on every single review. You just group them one or two groups or one group, and you can basically include them and give them roles. But let me add a user and maybe give him an approver role. Okay, first we'll, as I told, we'll look at the user's view. Okay, so this is a user again. The perspective is I'm here to give feedback, and okay, let me. Let me throw in a view there. Okay, so this is the user who's here to give feedback, and basically, let's look at what kind of activities we want him to perform. Check information, give feedback, let's say start a discussion, or give feedback and complete it. Extremely 3 simple steps, let's say. So this user just opened the review. So as I just opened the review, this could be that this guy clicked on an email and landed here, straight here. What do we have here? Every single information, model information that requires this guy's review. So if I want to have a look at the view and give my feedback, yes. Or if I want to check out the information and start a discussion or give my feedback, yes. So we even thought about the current experience is the user lands on a summary view. They have to click on items tab on the top right and then go their way into giving their feedback. We wanted to make that journey comparably easier. So with the goal that let's say I'm here to give feedback, hey, just give me whatever is there. So additionally, if you're diagrams driven or specific object requirements driven, so there are multiple ways how the information could be consumed. And as I told, for the dashboards, if I want to give a feedback on a review level, so on a review level, I can even start a discussion. I don't have to do a workaround and start a discussion on this view. So if I see certain information is not sent for review, I could add a comment about that as well. And once I'm done, I would be able to, let's say, complete the review. So click on a link from an email, come here, give feedback, start a discussion, done. So as simple as that. So we enhanced the view in a way that the end user doesn't have to think much. And when it comes to the, let's say, the admin or the moderator's point of view, so this guy doesn't land on the model information. Obviously, he's not here to see the kind of information. He's here to track the progress on what everybody is doing. So, okay, so now I've not started, I've not done much, so it's all empty, but he gets to see what kind of discussions are raised, what's the status, what these guys are doing, and basically ensure the review till completion. And so that's the two collaboration capabilities and how we have enhanced it. And next, let's have a look at dashboards. Okay, so I mean, this most of the charts you would be familiar with. So this is the landscape, but the new landscape, I'll show what's new here. So the pie chart and donuts and bubble chart. So there is a new, let's say, a horizontal bar chart that we have introduced on top of the vertical bar chart that's there. So this is the nested heat map that is already there. So the landscape is the highlight. So why? Because this is again completely revamped to suit the needs. So basically, if there was large data that was supposed to be consumed and we have seen users feeling that, hey, there's too much to see and we're not able to concentrate on what we want to concentrate. So in that cases, the users, the actual final users, if they want to focus on a specific area to understand more, they could actually click on or collapse and expand what information that they want to see right now. And the users, I don't think, yeah, they cannot do anything other than maximize and minimize right now, but with this there is a lot they can do. So let's say some settings doesn't have to be admin driven. I can enable or disable legends as per how I want. If I want to let's say toggle how it should fit, so basically a certain part of settings which was, let's say, expected to be done only by admins, and admin has to be contacted and probed to do, I don't have to go back to the admin all the time. I could play around to meet my needs and even convert information or kind of charts. So this again, so if I felt maybe I could see this in a nested pie or a different kind of view, it was not really possible to change the views from the dashboard. This is again going back to the admin to fulfill it, but now I can change all kinds of views and even edit the information on how it's done. And if I want to quickly export rather than let's say print screen or a print screen of a page, you can immediately download these flashy images. And you could also see how the charts behave. It's all completely smoother. So there are a lot of ways how we have enhanced the existing capabilities and how we have focused more on what users can do and how they shouldn't be going back to the admins all the time. Okay, so those are simple yet let's say powerful ways to improve consumption. So this with this we have looked at, let's say, the non-admin or the regular user, stakeholder users point of view. So you could have got a good feel on how things have changed for the better, and the users seamlessly can do what they are here for. So let's quickly look at the admin capabilities. Okay, let's say I'm on a dashboard. Okay, let's say I'm on a dashboard. The current experience is I go to the dashboards and click on, select the dashboard, click on edit, and then edit it. So this is a very simple and yet significant UX. Number one, so I just clicked on edit on that dashboard. As an admin, I had access and I'm here to edit it. So number two, is basically what you are seeing right now. So this is not the final dashboard, but the dashboard designer. Yet you are able to see the final end result. So the UX to get to the end result was see, completing everything, saving, and then going back to the final view to see it. You could get to see the end results as you are developing. So you don't there. So the lot of clicks and UX has been enhanced here. And when you want to create something, and so what we have done is this is again a new feature, enable you to define profiles. So let's say a single set of queries, or let's say configurations that you would mostly modify, let's say a variable only all the time. So currently you will have to, let's say, redo or copy paste queries or copy paste configurations. So we wanted to make that simpler. If all you are changing is something extremely simple, you can basically define some profiles and reuse them. So this is the, let's say, standard landscape query that I mostly use, and I'm not modifying a lot most of the time. I'm just editing and adding information once in a while only. So I can edit and get that information easily. Next, I could execute and understand the queries again while defining this itself. So this was again at the end of everything. Now you can execute and understand the, let's say, validity of the queries or configurations here, and you could even create the final query when you are building the complex information. And even the preview just shows what has been updated right now. And so next, let's have a look at what we have done with the MDG capabilities. So let's again maybe open this. So the current UX of, let's say, editing what should be exactly shown on an object is basically a very long way of getting to that stereotype in the modeling language and editing it now. So let's say 4 to 5 minutes UX happening. Now it's 1 second. So I guess it loaded in a second. So I just did a single click and I'm able to look at all the information that are getting displayed here. So from an admin's point of view, so you don't have to find your way to edit something and configure something. You can just do it in a click. And importantly, you could start define profiles based on your audience. So I'm in Archimate 3. Hey, I think this set of audience should see certain set of maybe business unit and cost and other information of the application, and there is a different group here who would want to understand more on the kind of usage and maybe deployment. It's an IT or cloud team kinds. So that was it was not possible to define attributes at a specific group level. You would be able to do that now. And next is the icon. So this is again, I would say, minimal, or let's say kind of hidden but long awaited capability. So hey, we have our own icons and other information in here, and we want to show that exactly as it is in Prolabora. It was not really possible. Now if you want to, let's say, change this application component icon to something else, that is possible. And importing and exporting, let's say, configurations across repositories, importing information from EA tag values, everything is possible right now. So if you have done something once, so you don't have to redo it over and over, it's all easily available right now. And some or many EA experts who have been working with MDGs for a long time, so you could see what has changed here. What was a multi-click UX? It's basically I'm just clicking around very quickly to configure something. And there are, so in such way, there are a lot of other capabilities that we have improved. So as I said, as I shared, our philosophy was not to infuse and introduce a lot of flashy features, but to enhance everything in a way that every single user, so not just stakeholders, not just admins, not just IT teams on the outside, so every single person in the overall journey of consumption is having the best experience. So with that, I'll move on to, so that with that I'm wrapping up the final the product demo, and we are moving on to our next we are coming back quickly to the PPT to look at the roadmap. So what we have planned is, so whatever you have seen, so I mean, it is working as you have seen, but we are doing our quick checks out there, and the production release of whatever we have seen, and also all the enhancements that little enhancements out there in all the capabilities that we saw would be available mostly at the end of this month, or let's say this month or the next, which we call the 4.0. 4.1, so 4.0, the target audience is basically why we would suggest let's say new users or anybody who wants to try out this all new UX, or whoever is extremely excited, please do reach out to us and we would be happy to help you set it up. So 4.1, the November-December release, so it's where you get the integration. So I guess we have seen a lot of companies going after Confluence, Jira, and DevOps and other integrations. So all the integrations are getting released in 4.1. So obviously anybody who's willing to upgrade their production environment, we'll request you to wait for, let's say, a couple of months before you can productionize what we are seeing. And the chart designer, when we are building charts, it was through query, so the designer obviously is not phased out, it's coming, and the open community access. And so basically this year we'll be focusing on, let's say, making the features better in the way what we have done so far, and the earlier next year we would be seeing a lot of new features coming in, like the diagrammer and enhanced revamped matrices and revamped Excel editor. So and the trend would go, so basically enhancements this year, all new features, so more excitement coming up in the years ahead. And so this, as I said, would be a very quick overview. I guess I've taken much time and no much time for questions, but I guess I'll just open it to the audience to have a quick look at all the complicated technologies. So, okay, one thing I would like to mention is, so the operating system. So if you notice Linux and Mac OS, so this is, as we saw, cloud ready. It's not OS agnostic, but you could see a small star out there. So, I mean, it is built on .NET multi-platform support, but let's say the final and last mile packaging is pending. So if in case you're interested, you might have to wait for some time, but that is, let's say, in our roadmap to get it done. And it would be, let's say, it is OS agnostic, but making it ready, there is some work pending out there. So I guess we don't have much time, maybe 1 or 2 questions max we can take.
Yeah, sure, Madhav. Thank you so much, Madhav, for the informative session. We are having good bunch of questions, but I'm just picking few quick questions for you to answer here. And we will be pasting the remaining questions in MS Teams at Spark Systems Prolaborate channel. The first question is from Lawrence, asking, does updating from Prolaborate 3.0 to 4.0 require a PCS update?
Yes, so if I mean it's not any new version. So if you're having a 6.5 that was released 1 or 2 months back, so that would be good enough.
Okay. Okay. And the next question is from Jasek. Is this property page configurable or is it predefined?
This is basically the MDG form designer. So every single field is configurable extremely easily.
Okay. So, and the last question to discuss here is from Robert, asking, can I click on connectors to see details?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the current behavior. You can, okay, sorry, you cannot click exactly on the connector. You will be able to, let's say, there's a way to view the information through Prolaborate, but it's not exactly in the UX that you are expecting. It's the current UX.
Okay. So yeah, there are still questions popping up, and our team is pasting all those questions in your channel. Please look into it and answer the remaining questions for a while, please.
Sure, I'll do it right away. So anybody
Yeah.
who's available and want to gain answers, I'll immediately go to the Teams channel after
Yeah.
this session. We'll get in touch very shortly.
Yeah, your team is already replying to most of the questions. So we'll wrap up the session here. Thank you, Madhav, once again, and thanks to everyone for your time during the session. Hope this session gives deeper insights about new features in Prolaborate 4.0. Now, Madhav and his team will be available in MS Teams to have a detailed discussions and answer further questions. The link to MS Teams is pasted in the chat window for your quick reference. If anyone is having any difficulty in connecting to Teams, please write to us at registrations@eaglobalsummit.com. Thanks once again, everyone, and looking forward to hosting you all in another wonderful session at this summit shortly. Thank you, Madhav. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Julie. Thanks a lot, everyone, for your time. Have a good day.
Yeah.